Welcome to this explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today. We're going to embark on a pretty fascinating journey to demystify exactly how the Kenyan government operates. If you've ever found yourself wondering who's actually pulling the levers behind the scenes, how laws really get made, or why certain national decisions seem to just happen overnight, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we are looking at the dual engines of power that literally drive the entire nation.
Okay, let's dive into this. How much power does the president actually have? It's a bold question, right? But seriously, think about it. One single government decision can instantly change the fuel prices you pay at the pump. It can raise taxes or completely alter business rules overnight. It can affect millions of lives in the absolute blink of an eye. So who really controls the country?
To answer that, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with who really runs Kenya, step inside the executive branch, and explore the power of Parliament. Then, we'll look at how laws are made, those all-important checks and balances, and finally, why your voice actually matters in all of this. We're going to break down these dense constitutional concepts into clear, logical steps. Section 1. Who really runs Kenya, and the daily impact of government decisions.
I want you to think back to the last time you noticed your cost of living go up. Every single time policies suddenly change, whether it's those fuel prices at the pump, new taxes hitting your biashara, sudden shifts in the school systems, or adjustments to healthcare funding, you're seeing the direct power of the government in action. Yes, the government essentially decides the price of your morning tea. This isn't just abstract politics happening in a vacuum. It hits your wallet directly. Section 2. Inside the executive branch, the day-to-day operators. This is the arm of the government that's responsible for running the country on a daily operational basis. According to Chapter 8 of the Constitution, the executive is made up of a few key players. At the very top, you have the president and the deputy president. Right below them are the cabinet secretaries, and then this vast, sprawling network of government ministries and agencies. This is the team that takes the laws and actually implements them across the nation. And this brilliantly illustrates just how much weight the president's office carries. They aren't just a figurehead. Actually, they serve a massive dual role as both head of state and head of government. This means the president leads the entire branch responsible for the daily operations of the country. We're talking about directing national policies, overseeing all the security agencies, and making the major state appointments. It's a huge job.
Let's bring this right down to your daily reality. The executive exercises this massive influence through its ministries. The Ministry of Education? They dictate your school systems and fees. The Ministry of Health manages hospital funding and your access to care. Trade handles the business rules and taxes that directly impact your enterprise. And Roads manages the infrastructure projects that determine how long you sit in traffic during your daily commute. When cabinet secretaries make decisions in these areas, they are shaping your everyday life.
Moving on to Section 3, the power of Parliament. The voice of the people.
If the executive is the engine of daily operations, the legislature is the absolutely crucial second engine of power in Kenya. Listen to this really powerful quote from Article 94 of the Constitution. The legislative authority of the Republic is derived from the people. This is such a profound reminder that ultimate rulemaking power doesn't start in some big government building. It begins with you, the citizens. Parliament is just exercising it on your behalf.
Now, Parliament isn't just one big room where everyone agrees or disagrees. It's actually divided into two distinct houses with very different jobs. On one hand, you have the National Assembly. They represent the people of the constituencies and special interests, and they're the ones deliberating on national revenue and expenditure. On the other side is the Senate. They exist specifically to represent the 47 counties and protect the interests and revenues of those county governments. So one focuses on the big national picture, while the other aggressively guards local, county-level interests.
Think about how the National Assembly is intentionally built to reflect the nation's diversity. Out of the total members, 290 are elected directly from single-member constituencies. Then, you have 47 women elected from the county level, guaranteeing gender representation. Finally, there are 12 nominated members specifically chosen for special interests, like youth, persons with disabilities, and workers. It's a highly calculated mix, designed to make sure every single demographic has a seat at the table.
And then we have the magic number, 47. This is the absolute cornerstone of the Senate. There are 47 elected senators, exactly one for each county in Kenya. It perfectly highlights the Senate's localized, county-first focus. They are literally the frontline defenders of devolution. Section 4. How laws are made, from an idea to a national law.
So the crucial point is, now that we know who sits in Parliament, how do they actually use this power? Well, a massive concept here is the money bill. According to Article 114, any bill that deals with national taxes, public funds, or government loans can only be introduced in the National Assembly. Because they represent the constituencies directly, the Constitution gives them a very special, exclusive grip on anything touching the taxpayers' money. No way around it.
For a standard law to pass, it goes through a pretty logical, chronological journey. First, the bill originates in one of the houses. Second, it goes through intense debates and requires approval from that first house. Third, it moves to the second house for approval. Now, if the two houses disagree, a mediation committee steps in to hash it out. Finally, once both houses agree, the whole shebang lands on the president's desk, and the president has exactly 14 days to give their assent, officially turning it into published law.
Section 5. The checks and balances. Keeping power in check.
This brings us to the real climax of this explainer. We've seen the executive's operational power, and we've seen Parliament's legislative power. Now here is how they constantly push and pull against each other to ensure no one has absolute control. When the executive implements national policies, Parliament can review their conduct and, get this, even initiate impeachment proceedings against state officers. When the president makes major state appointments, Parliament's committees must actually vet and approve those individuals before they can even take office. And when the executive wants to spend national revenue, it's Parliament that actually appropriates those funds and exercises strict budget oversight.
But wait, what happens if Parliament passes a law and the president absolutely hates it? Well, the president isn't a king, right? Their veto power is not absolute. Under Article 115, if the president rejects a bill, they send it back with their reservations. Parliament then reconsiders it. And here's the kicker. If Parliament stands its ground and passes the bill again with a two-thirds majority in both houses, a dramatic override occurs. At that point, the president is constitutionally forced to assent. Parliament can literally override the president.
Oh, and we definitely can't forget the courts. Outside of Parliament, the judiciary acts as another absolutely vital check. If the executive makes a decision or Parliament passes a law that violates the Constitution, the courts have the power to step right in and stop it, ensuring that every single branch plays by the rules.
Finally, Section 6. Why your voice matters, because politics follows your pocketbook.
Let's bring all these heavy constitutional mechanics right back home to you, the everyday citizen. The Constitution actually gives you direct tools to hold these powerful branches accountable. And no, you don't have to wait 5 years to use them. You have the right to petition Parliament directly on any matter. You're guaranteed the right to public participation in committee sittings. Under Article 104, the electorate even has the power to recall an MP before their term ends if they just aren't performing. And of course, there's your ultimate power, voting in the general election.
You know, understanding this stuff, it isn't just for lawyers or politicians. It's absolutely essential for anyone running a biashara, anyone paying for transport, and anyone sending their kids to school. Because here's the absolute truth of the matter. Even if you don't follow politics, politics follows you. Government decisions will always, eventually, reach your pocket.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought to reflect on, based on everything we've unpacked today. Looking at this entire balance of power, do you think the president has too much power, or is strong executive leadership actually necessary to run the country effectively? Think about how these different branches push and pull, and what that really means for your daily life. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and I will see you in our next explainer.